Hey everybody, it's your girl Nell and welcome to Simply Nell's Tiny Studio. How are you doing today? I am in the Tiny Studio and I just received a package, an order from my wholesaler. And so I am in this tiny studio just getting things prepared to start making some jewelry, possibly repairing jewelry in this episode. That's what I'll be doing. We'll see how things go. Let's, just hang out with Nell in the tiny studio as I go through my jewelry supplies and do a little inventory and perhaps make a bracelet today. We'll see what happens. Everything is going to be organic and happen organically. So thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for being a tiny studio guest. I hope that I have been an inspiration to you, and I hope that you are. I hope that you've created a tiny studio in your home so that you can go ahead and open up all of the creativity that you have inside and express it in whatever form that or manner that you prefer. It could be poetry, it could be prose, it could be novel or fiction writing. This is the month of November, so this is the first week of, I think it's the National Writers Month, where you spend 30 days writing. Maybe it may be exploring some characters that you have in your mind and putting that on paper. It's a whole month-long thing. And if you would like for me to talk about that here in the tiny studio, I most certainly can. I didn't necessarily forget about it, but I have so many things going on in a tiny studio that, I haven't really been able to immerse myself in that this month or this year. It happens every November, and I think it's National November Writers Month. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll write a video. Not write a video. Maybe. Oh yes. Maybe I'll write a blog about it on at simply nails tiny studio.wordpress.com. You can follow me there, and you can also follow me on Facebook at Simply Nails Tiny Studio. So maybe I will put some writing prompts up if you're interested in that. But anyhow, I say that to say this, that I hope that I've been an inspiration to you and that you have created a tiny studio somewhere in your home so that you can go ahead and unleash your creativity and your passion. I am having a hot flash. So I'm getting ready to turn on the fan, child, because these hot flashes be getting me. Oh, child. Okay, I got the fan going. Yes, 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 yes. All right, so I received a package from my wholesaler yesterday, and I got a chance to go through it, but I wanted to go through it with you guys to let you see what's happening in the tiny studio. I also was able to locate my my Beadalon stretchy cord, and I thought I put it away. Let me see. I know I saw it. I put it away and I don't remember where exactly I put it, but I better locate it because I wanted to use it for my bracelets, but I don't see it. And I put it away for a reason, because when I came across it, I said, hey, I want to make a bracelet and make some bracelets. And, I hate buying things repeatedly because the tiny studio is so small, and I really hate buying things over and over again. It's just, that just really gets on my nerves. And okay, here it is. I found it. Okay. Wait a minute. That's not it. That's wire. come on now, Neil. What did you do with that? See, you know what? I done misplaced it again. I did exactly what I didn't want to do. I misplaced that bead along. See, I told you the last time we were in the tiny studio that I was going to have to order it, and I was so happy. I was so happy and so relieved that I found the bead along stretch or elastic cord. I was so happy that I found it because that meant that I wouldn't have to spend any money on replacing it. But it seems like, you know, I've misplaced it again, and that's exactly what I'm going to have to do. You know what? You know what? Nell sucks. I suck. So as you see, I have plastic bags to keep the keep all of my wire cords and everything together. And I really do love Beadalon. I really love their products, and you know, it just sucks sometimes. You know, sometimes I get on my own nerves. You know, I really do. I call myself making strides, and it seems like, you know, every time I think I'm ahead, I'm really behind. You know, it's just gets on my last nerve. Anyhow, so I may still make some stretchy bracelets here, but you know, the thrill is gone. The thrill is gone, child. I don't know. You know, I'll think about it whether or not I'm going to go ahead and make some stretchy bracelets. But anyhow, I maybe let's say a few weeks back, I ordered some seashells or some cowrie shells, and I wanted to use them in my painting, my canvas painting, and I did. And remember, that painting was called The Cauldron of Life, and so I did use the shells for on that painting. And here are some of the shells. They were I believe it was 150 cowrie shells I purchased for maybe $10 or so, maybe less, and I got that from Amazon. Don't at me and get on my case about it, but I wanted to order the shells from a sister that I saw on Etsy, but and I probably may go ahead and do so. I really like to support Black businesses, and so I'm going to order some more and order from her. But I just needed them immediately, and so I didn't feel like waiting for about, you know, 2 or 3 weeks for them to arrive. So, you know, I really need to rethink the way that I do business, and I'm going to do better. I promise to do better. That's my goal. So I'm going to put these shells in a container, and it came with some cord, but I'm really going to probably throw this cord in the trash because it's flimsy. So let me do that now. Let me see. Here is the package that I received, and I really like from Etsy. I like this wholesaler, and I met this wholesaler on Etsy maybe about 8 years ago, and so I really like this particular seller, and I ordered some things from them, and it's jade. So I ordered some let's see, this looks like red jade and ruby. I don't know what it is. Let me go through the list and find out what it is I exactly ordered. And I have another shipment of things that are coming, so let me make sure. Let's see what I got here. All right. So I have some natural faceted green African jade beads. I have some purple tiger eye, some star cut faceted white turquoise round beads, and some 34mm silver plated copper oval star chain 1 foot. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. All right, so see. Okay, so this is, oh, that's pretty. Look at that. That is the purple. Let me see. Purple tiger's eye. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That's beautiful. Purple tiger's eye. I like that. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's going to make a really beautiful, whatever it is that I'm going to make with this. That's purple. Okay, I'll put that here. And then this must be the African green jade. Yeah, that's pretty. I really like that. Look at the faceted. Look at the faceted gemstones. Look at that. Yeah, that's pretty. That's really nice. Okay, and what else is here? Okay, and then we have, I think this is the red, what's this say? Red jade. Okay, that's the red jade. That's pretty too. And then of course we have the turquoise. All right, those are really nice. Okay, I like it. And the oval star. And I think that what I was planning, I forgot what I was planning to do with this chain. But more than likely, I was thinking about adding it as an effect to the bracelet I wanted to make. So I would just, use these ovals, I think this would make a nice bracelet. It will also make a nice necklace too. But what I'm going to do is probably just break it down anyway. I want to get to the point where I'm hammering and making my own metal metal pieces to put on my jewelry. I'm working towards that. I recently ordered some tools so that I can begin to really get into metal making and being able to fully produce my own jewelry. It's a whole craft. So that looks good. So let me go ahead and put them into containers. I'm wondering if I should use these smaller containers, or if I should go ahead and use, I'm thinking that the large will probably be better or best for this task. Okay. Do I have any left though? I was thinking that maybe these would be better, but I don't really have any left. I have one. Well, I have two. So I'm probably going to end up using, I'm probably going to end up using that anyway, using the small containers anyway. Well, in the meantime, let me put this chain up. And I'm going to put them into this container that says silver findings. Well, it says square findings, so I probably need to put it in this one. So how are you doing today? I hope that you are having a great day. I'm having a pretty decent day. I can't really complain. I could, but you know, who's gonna listen? But really, I'm having a decent day. I was talking to one of my friends today, one of my girlfriends today, and just listening. I really enjoy talking to my friends because they are so funny. I just want to label this. They are so funny. They crack me up. I have a wealth of friends, and they are so just beautiful, beautiful people to know and to love. And you know, I think friendships are so very important. And I really, you know, I have another container, and I'm thinking, do I? I don't. I thought I had another large container like this, but I don't. Okay. Anyhow, I just really enjoy friends and friendships. And my friends, I really don't have a lot of friends. I used to, and my grandmother kind of, you know, let me know that, you know, like Houdini said back in the day, that friends and friendships are precious, and a lot of people take for granted what friendship is. And she didn't want me to be like that, and she thought it was always very important that I understood what friendship means. And I think that I had to become mature to learn that, you know, to learn about friendships and learn how important friendships are. I mean, I think I already knew that friendships are indeed important, but I had an issue with picking friends, you know. And I would, you know, if someone was cool with me and treated me a certain way, treated me with kindness and love and respect, I was cool with them, you know. That's how you know, that's how my business was dealt. If you were kind and loyal and all the things to me, I was most definitely that to you, and I considered you a friend. And that is not necessarily how friendships should operate. You hear some shells here. That's not exactly how friendships should operate. And I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn that there's a lot more that goes into a friendship and being a friend than what I, you know, assumed it to be. And so I had to learn the hard way about friendships and the importance of friendships, and how you just can't go around, you know, just calling anybody your friend. You just can't, because everybody is not deserving of that type of relationship. Everybody is not deserving of your time. Everyone does not deserve your energy. And I had to learn that lesson. You know, I had to learn that. And it took me some time, but I did. Just labeling it cowrie shells. I had to, it took me some time to actually learn that lesson, that everybody's not your friend, Nell. Just because they smile and grinning in your face, and you know, they want to party with you, and you know, they might want to fight with you, you know, help, you know, jump in a fight and whatever. If they don't have the same values, then how could they possibly be friend material? They need to have the same values that you have. And that's something that I learned too, the hard way. that if a person doesn't share my values, then we really cannot be friends. You know, we cannot be friends if we don't have the same values. And I think that that's something I try to teach my children too. I didn't want them just to be friends with anybody because that person was nice to them. No, I didn't want that. I wanted them to be friends with people because they had the same values, same standards. And, you know, that's hard to find when you're looking for a friend. That's really hard to find. Someone that have the same values that you do. Someone that not necessarily looks at the world the way that you do, but someone who is compatible towards you. And, you know, and that's one of the things I try to teach my children as well. Well, I did teach them that it's okay to have friends whose opinions you value, but who may have differing opinions than you do. Don't be someone's friend just because. You know, just because they believe the same things that you do. Even though that may be a bonus to have a friend that, you know, has the same religion that you do, or, you know, was raised the same way you were. You know, that's a bonus thing to have have a friend like that, because they really get you and understand you. But it's really even better to have friends that have different opinions. Friends that, you know, may not have been raised in the same neighborhood that you may have been raised. You know, friends who come from different backgrounds and cultures, because that gives you, that helps you to broaden your knowledge, to broaden your experiences, to be able to learn empathy and learn compassion. You know, and because if you continue to hang around the same people all the time, you're never going to be able to expand. You're always going to be in a situation where you're just narrow-minded, and that's what I did not want for my kids. I did not want them to be narrow-minded. And I think moving to Florida opened my kids up to meeting and establishing relationships with people who weren't black. Because we lived in Detroit, Michigan, and all of my friends were, you know, black or African American, you know, and I didn't see anything necessarily wrong with that. I never saw anything wrong with it, but, you know, that was my only exposure to any culture, was basically, you know, from where I was in the city that I lived in, you know, that's what I was exposed to, was only, you know, African Americans. I would have liked to have been exposed to Latinos. You know, the only time that I actually was exposed to Hispanic or Latinos was when I went to eat in Mexican Town. You know, that's not, you know, that's not really cool. But that was my only exposure, and that's not really exposure when you think about it. Because, you know, when you think about the Hispanic community, the Latino community, that's a very diverse type of community. You know, it's just not made up of Mexicans. You know, and it's you know, that's wrong to even think that. But, you know, that's who, you know, that's how I was exposed. That's all I was exposed to. And I would, like I said, I wouldn't even call that exposure, to be honest. Because it's not like I made friends. My sister dated a Mexican guy. His name was Jose. I really liked him. I really did. I really like Jose. Jose was that dude. And he was a biker guy. He belonged to a biker club. He was that dude for real. My family, we love Jose. Jose was the man. But when I moved to Florida, right in my community, immediate community, I was exposed to people from the Dominican Republic. I was exposed to people from Haiti. I was exposed to people from Jamaica. I was exposed to people from, did I say Dominican Republic? Did I say that yet? Yes, I was exposed to them. I was exposed to people from Ecuador. I was exposed to people from New York. I was exposed to a lot of different cultures, and I loved it. You know, I loved it. I learned a lot. Okay, this is Purple Tiger's Eye. I'll put that here. Purple Tiger's Eye. I met a lot of people, and I was exposed to their culture, invited into their home, became exposed to their food. I really loved it. That's why I know how to make pernil. It's that time of year. Pernil is just roasted pork. However, the way that it is marinated and the way that it's cooked is truly, truly Puerto Rican and Cuban. Cuban inspiration. Oh yes, that's right. And I became friends with some people who were from Cuba. It was just really, you know, I really had a good time immersing myself in, you know, the Latino or the Hispanic culture here in America. And just by moving to Florida, that's how I was exposed, you know, to different cultures. I met people who were from Poland here living in Florida. I met people from South Africa. And listen, I met white South Africans, Afrikaners, okay? And this is before all of that stuff went down with South Africa and, you know, the stuff that, you know, who has, you know, going on. That was before that. And, you know, those were my friends. Those were people that I hung out with. And I'm not using the word friends lightly because they were truly friends. They really showed up when my husband and I were going through really difficult times, when the housing market crash happened, and we had to found ourselves in a situation where we had to downsize, and a lot of my husband lost his job because, you know, at the time they were not, you know, with the housing crash, they were not building, you know, everything that was supposed to be, all the little gated communities that were being planned and everything, all of those things came to a halt, a serious halt. And that's my husband's business. That's his bread and butter right there. And, you know, we went through a real difficult time, but it was meeting those people, those different people that came into our life, who had come into our life. You know, it was during this difficult time that they showed up as friends. They were already friends, but they really showed up as friends during this period of time in our lives. And I will never forget that. And believe it or not, we're still friends with most of them to this day. So, you know, that's what I've been trying. What I shouldn't say trying. That's what I've taught my children, is that it's not the quantity of people that you have in your circle that you call friend. It's the quantity of people that you have in your circle that you call friend. Because if they are not showing up for you, They are not your friends. This white turquoise, I have an idea of what I want to make with it. So I have that nice and labeled. And you know, it's true. If you if you are a person, you know, if you're trying to teach your children the significance and the importance of friendship, then you have to let your kids know that friendship is something that you experience, but it's a reciprocation. It's not like it should not be a one-way street. And there were a lot of times in the friendships that I cultivated over the years as a young person where the friendships were always kind of one-sided, you know, because I liked new things and expensive things and I liked to shop. I kept a job, you know. I worked. Sometimes I worked 3 jobs as a young person because I just like beautiful things. I like beautiful things. I like to hang out. I like to go to the club. I like to party, you know. And when I went out, I like to go out. And I wasn't necessarily looking for a man to buy me a drink. I was buying my own drink. And I would tell my friends that too. You know, buy your own drink. You know, screw that man. Screw that dude. And since I felt that way, you know, I would tell my friends, look, you know, I'll buy your drink. You want to go out to dinner? Oh, you can't, you don't have any money? Don't worry. You know, I got your meal. You know, we're going to go out and hang. We're going to have a really good time. You know, you don't need a man to show you a good time. You don't need a man to call you on the phone to invite you to the club. Girl, get your clothes on and let's go. That's the type of friend I was. And, you know, if I had it and I had it to share, I did. That was just me. That's how I operated. If I had the money and you didn't have it, that was fine. You know, I didn't mind sharing what I had. If I was going shopping and I saw a pair of shoes that I liked, you know, and you saw something that you liked and you wanted it, but you didn't have the money, I didn't mind going ahead and buying it for you. And I did not expect you to pay me back either. I did not expect that. If I had it to give, it was a gift. Enjoy. That's how I roll. And I think that a lot of people were in my life for the ride. Because they knew, you know, hanging out with Nell was going to be fun. And that they didn't have to worry about certain things because Nell was going to take care of it. But, you know, which like I said, I did not mind, but you don't have to use a sister. Which is what they were doing. You know, they were, you know, using me. And my grandmother would tell me, you know, that person right there, that's not your friend. That person right there is not your friend. What you mean? What do you mean, Fee? What do you mean they're not my friend? They're not your friend. You can't see it, but I can. I can see it. They're not your friend. And she was right. She was absolutely right. My son, unfortunately, he had to let go of a long relationship that he had with someone who was his best friend. And he you know, it was sad how it all went down, but it did. And he was very upset about it. He was very upset about it. And that was a 10. They had known each other since they were kids. Since they were kids. And you know what my son said? He said, you know, Mom, I always knew that he was a flake. I always knew he was a flake. I always knew he was wishy-washy, but I never thought that he would be a flake and a flip-flop and be wishy-washy with me. He said, I never thought that. I didn't think it either, but you know. He said, I didn't think that he would, you know, be the type of person that he was to other people, to me. And that made my son really reassess the relationship. This is that green African jade. I like this too. Okay. All right, here we are. So I just finished some green African jade. Okay, so I did that. I could put these in here. And, you know, I felt bad for him because he and this young man, they had been friends for a very long time, since they were kids. In fact, this young man, his parents and his parents are, you know, the hubby and I, that was our friends, you know. And so my husband was like, well, I wonder if the end of Kyle's relationship with so-and-so, I wonder if this is going to affect our friendship. And I was like, it shouldn't. It shouldn't affect anything that we have going on. But, you know, in that vein, if you really want to get into it, I really believe that my son's former friend was just, you know, practicing what he saw in his own parents as far as friendship is concerned, because of the fact that, you know, when my husband was diagnosed with cancer, my friend, you know, they did not call to check on my husband. They didn't come over. They didn't send a meal. They didn't send a text. They didn't send message by way of a carrier pigeon. They didn't send anything to check on my husband. You know, and these were people that we closely associated with. These were people who ate or dined in our homes. We partied together. We hung out with them and their families. We thought that, you know, we were a really tight group of people, you know, raised our kids together, all of those great things. And when my husband became ill with cancer, I didn't hear a peep out of them. So once again, here we are having that conversation again, right, about friends. And I had told my husband that, you know, that I was very upset by the fact that they didn't come around. That they didn't come around, they didn't call, they didn't do any of those things. And it was like really heartbreaking for me. I don't know if my husband saw it like that, but I did. And to find out that my son's friend, their son, you know, turned out to be, you know, what my dad would call a piss poor friend, you know, that's really not shocking in the grand scheme of things. You know what I'm saying? Not shocking at all. It's sad more than anything, you know? It's sad. So even as adults, we have to sometimes reassess what the meaning of friends really is, or what our perception of friendship is, Because if we don't, we'll have a whole host of people in our lives that are nothing but hangers on. People who are, just there for the good time, just there to eat your food up, just there to drink up all your liquor, just there to hang out with you, but could care less about anything else to do with you. You know? And I'm still kind of pissed about that. Let it truth be told, I'm still not happy about it. I just felt like, I mean, not even a phone call, not even a what's up, dude? Hey man, how you doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, so I have some earrings here that I made maybe about I want to say maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, if not longer. And what happened is some of the findings came loose, and the reason why they came loose is because I didn't really use good findings or really strong findings, and that led to my earrings falling apart. And this was another pair of earrings I made. They're hoop earrings made out of moissanite. I think it's moissanite. Yeah, I think it's moissanite. It is moissanite. Made out of moissanite, which is a crystal, and some wood. And these were hoop earrings, and I'm going to take these apart. I think I've already taken one apart, and so we're going to do that right now, and then I'm going to let you go. And this bracelet needs it needs a jump ring to go here. It had a chain on it, but the chain came loose. This is a bracelet. It had a chain on it, and the chain went here. And I'm thinking about just adding a jump ring to this, and then, then the bracelet will close. This is, what is this? It's not ruby, it's garnet. So this is a garnet crystal, and I used to wear this a lot, but that came loose. And I think I know what I have to order. I need to order some crimp beads. Okay, so here's a crimp bead right here. Let's see, can you see that? That's a crimp bead. So I need to order some more of those. We'll work on that in a minute. And then I made these earrings. These are sodite earrings with a little bit of hematite. And hematite is magnetic. So as you see that they magnetize. See that? That's hematite. Hematite is a metal that is, magnetic. So when you're looking at jewelry that is made of hematite, that's what it should do if it's real. Now there are some hematite that are not magnetized, but from what I understand, hematite, if you really want some the healing properties of hematite, you want to get the hematite that hasn't been that is magnetized. So I made a pair of hematite earrings, and one of them broke off. So let's see. Here it is. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Did I want to, You know, this is how they're supposed to look, and this is how the broke one looks. So I was trying to decide what I want to do about it. I think I have some Sodalite, so I could just go ahead and fix that. But what I'm also going to have to do is add another jump ring to these, because I need the jump ring to last. So I ordered some stainless steel jump rings. I think I have some, so I need to check and see but what I have. But I think I'm going to change the jump ring on these. And I had a collection where I made crystal mini hoop earrings, and this was part of the collection. It has lapis, what else is on here? Lapis, rose quartz, and tourmaline. However, what I didn't like is the findings that I purchased were cheap, so they began to corrode on me. And so that's one of the things that you learn when you're making jewelry. You begin to learn what type of materials are satisfactory to use, especially if you are, you know, you want to sell your jewelry and you want your customers to be happy and return to you. You need to make sure that the findings you use are quality findings, and that's something that I've learned over my 10 years as a jewelry designer. So this was from a collection called the Crystal Minis collection, Coupe Minis, and I believe I had them in they were in this particular style. Well, these were lapis, tourmaline, and rose quartz, and then I had pairs that were just all amethyst, all citrine, all quartz, all lapis, and what was that other one? Carnelian. I think it was all carnelian. Yeah, I think so. And so these were really cute. These sold for me, and I'm thinking about introducing it again for the winter 26, 27 season. They're called the Hoop Minis, Crystal Minis. And they're not too big and not too small. I think there are a couple of videos here on the channel where you see me actually wearing them. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is see if I have some hoop rings for this. So let me check and see what I have. But anyhow, even as adults, we go through growing pains when it comes to certain things. And you know, this garnet, I'm going to show you the earrings that went with that collection, went with that set. Here's the garnet. Okay. These are the earrings that went with that particular bracelet. So you had the garnet earrings, and you had the bracelet. Yeah. So that was a good collection too. I really love working with crystals. Thought that is my jam. That is my thing. And I've been learning how to, you know, I've been learning the craft. Let me just put it to you like that. I've been learning the craft. This was the collection. It was a set. So there was garnet, there was ruby, and I believe there was a lapis. And so it was a bracelet and earring set. But I've already taken the other earring down. But I have been wrestling with the fact of whether or not I want to tell my customers that if they need me to replace their jewelry, you know, to send it back and I'll replace it. All they had to do is pay for the shipping. But, you know, I have thought about that, but I soon, just scrap that idea, because, that will really put me in the hole as far um as my business is concerned. So what I decided is that, Nell, you have to do better, and you have to quality is essential. Quality is essential when you are doing anything, but especially with jewelry. If you want your jewelry to be um heirloom type of thing, where people can pass it down to their children or grandchildren, then you have to use quality materials. And that's one of the lessons that I've learned. It's not about making a quick buck, but what it's really about is making quality things for people to enjoy, that'll last a lifetime, like my crochet blankets. That's the same principle, is to make things that will last. That's the whole idea. Well, you know what? I see that it's getting kind of late, and I've held you for a long time here. So I hope that you've had a really good time watching me hanging out in the tiny studio. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns, please do not hesitate to, drop down in the comment section, and, let's get the conversation started. Let's yak it up. Let's talk about it. There's nothing wrong with talking about it. But I hope you enjoyed this conversation that we've had about friends. How many of us have them? Friends. And those are the lessons that I had to learn about friends. And as much as I want to talk about friends and friendships, I do want to say this. To understand what a real friend is, or what a true friend is, you have to be a friend as well. And a good friend. And I always thought that I was just like the best friend ever. I always thought I was the best friend ever. And I had 2 people tell me, you are fooling yourself. You need to do better, Nell. And those times when I've had people that I really love tell me that I was not a good friend to them, that really broke my heart. That broke my heart. And I learned from that. I really learned from that. I learned that to be a friend, to say you're somebody's friend, you really have to be their friend. Be in the trenches with them. You can't let judgment come into play when you claim that you're someone's friend. And I was a very judgmental friend. I'm going to tell you right now, I was very judgmental, and that was a bad thing. And I didn't know I was judgmental until someone called me out on it. I had no idea that I was judgmental until somebody told me, I really can't talk to you, Nell, because, you're judgmental. And I'm like, who, me? Not me. Me judgmental? Who are you talking to? I am not judgmental. I don't judge anybody. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You are very, very judgy. And I had to sit back and think. After I argued the point, I had to really sit back and, go home and think about it. Am I judgy? Do I judge people? I mean, do I really? Yeah, you do, girl. I had to sit there and think about it. And yeah, at some point, I was a very judgy person. And you know, when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you're judgy. Let me just be honest with you. If you are any religion that tells you that your religion is the only religion, it's the only right religion, you're a judgy person. Okay? You just are. There's no doubts about it. You're judgy. And you may say, I'm not judgy. Yes, you are, because you believe that everyone is going to hell except you. You believe everyone's going to hell and you're going to heaven. So yes, you're judgy. And so, you know, I had to really sit back and think about it. And I'm like, yeah, I am judgmental. Yeah, you know, that's not far-fetched. That is exactly who I am. A very judgmental young lady. And or older lady. Well, middle-aged lady. My sister told me I was judgmental, and then I had a friend tell me I was judgmental, and that hurt me so bad. Well, I had two friends tell me I was judgmental, and that hurt me so bad. I was so hurt behind that. I was like, not me. You got the wrong person. I am not judgmental. Yeah, it's you, girl. It's you. It's you. It's you. And, you know, like I said, that really hurt me. But what it really did was, besides opening up my eyes towards my behavior, what it also did was I was able to work on it. I was able to start working on it. You know, begin to say, okay, I don't want to be judgmental or known as judgmental. You know, what do I need to do? What do I have to do to, you know, improve myself to not be judgmental? What can I do to stop this? And, you know, it took me some time. I had to sit back and ask myself some serious questions about, you know, the way I saw things, the way I saw other people. I had to really do some soul searching. And I had to ask myself, you know, what makes you better than anybody else, Nell? What? What is it about you that makes you better than anyone? What is it? And, you know, I realized there was nothing. I'm sorry, I'm not, you know, you can't really hear me. I'm muffled. I'm looking for some wire cut. I'm looking for some wire cutters. But I had to ask myself, you know, what is it that make you special, Nell? Nothing. What is it about you that makes you believe that you have all the answers? What is it about you that makes you believe that what you say and how you feel about life in general and about certain things, that you have not only all the answers, but that it's okay for you to stand in judgment of someone else? Who gave you that right? And so I had to really sit back and, you know, think about that. After I realized, you know, hey, you know, the person that told me that, you know, they wasn't bullshitting me. They was serious. And, you know, I had to really sit back and do some soul searching. And a lot of that for me came from religion. You know, like I said, you grow up in a religion that tells everybody, hey, you know, we're better than you. We're going to live forever, and you're not. I'm better than you. You come for something like that, then, you know, you have to ask yourself some questions. And I did. I had to ask myself some questions. And what I'm getting ready to do is I'm going to just take this apart, and I'm going to use my wire cutter to do that. I can't use regular cutters for this because it will destroy my regular snippers, so I have to use wire cutters for this. But yeah, I had to ask myself those questions, you know. And when I asked myself the question and was actually honest with myself, then I was able to work on myself. And the reason why I decided to just go ahead and take these two earrings apart is because I noticed that some of the silver that I was using had really corroded, because it's really not silver. It's not silver plated. It's not anything. It's just silver coated. So it was turning, and I'm just going to take that off. The wood is still fine, but these little spacers are not, except these spacer balls are fine. So the rest of them are not, so I'm going to get rid of it. And I've learned a lesson with that as well. You know, I just want to make sure I get the real thing and not fake-o stuff, because it's not good. Yep, so anyhow, that's what's going on with me. But yeah, I had to learn those lessons, and then after I learned those lessons, I became a better friend. I had a friend who told me once, she said, I really treasure our relationship. I treasure our friendship, Nell, but when I call you, you don't return any of my phone calls. I could be in a crisis and you return my phone call 2 or 3 days later. Was she right? Yeah, she was right. Even though I had an excuse for it, I'm working. I'm working. I have a family. Well, she did too. She was working and she had a family as well. But if we're friends and she really needed my help, well then, friendship goes 2 ways. So if she needed me, then what should I have done? I should have reciprocated and been her friend and called her back. And that was true. She had an excellent point. When she needed me, I conveniently had something else to do. And so that was something I had to work on, because like she said, well, what I really need from you, Nell, is that if you can't return my phone call, at least text me. And I was like, oh, okay, I could do that. And that's what I did. As a matter of fact, I talked to her today. I noticed that she had called me yesterday. I didn't know that, but I noticed that she had called me, and then I called her today and let her know, look, I just saw that you called. You didn't leave a message or anything, but I wanted to call you back to check on you. She was like, yes, you're good. And so that's something that I had to learn. I had to learn how to be a friend to other people, because I thought I was being, hey, honey, I thought I was being a good friend, but I really wasn't. But it's something that I had to work on. And I had to work towards. And remember, each friendship, each relationship is different. Each person is different. One friend may need one thing out of you or something out of you, and another friend may need something else. I could talk to one of my friends every 6 months or so, and we'll just be back on it. But then there's another friend that I know I need to call right now, my best friend, because I know she's going through something and she may need to talk to me every day. I don't know, but I need to tailor the friendship so that I can be able to, when I need, it's kind of like when you're filling the coffers, you're filling your bank, when your friendship should be considered as, like a bank. What you put into it is what you're going to be able to withdraw in the future. So if I'm not pouring into my friend, if I'm not investing in my friendship, then when I really need my friendship and I need to withdraw from the friendship, I'm not going to get anything because I didn't put anything into it. So I'm going to let you go. I see the hubby has arrived, and I'm going to take this moissanite and wood off of this particular and I should have done this a year or 2 ago, but I didn't. I'm gonna say 3 years ago, but I didn't. So I'm really making progress here in the tiny studio. It may not seem like it, but I am, because I'm really getting rid of things that I that I don't need and that I could possibly use toward something else. Let me go ahead and do this last one. Yeah. And like I said, you have to use the wire cutters, because if you use regular cutters, regular snippers, you will tear up your snippers. You really will. You really will, because the memory, I think this is called memory wire. And I have, let me show you what it looks like before I get out of here. Okay, hang on. Let me show you what it looks like. It looks like a slinky. You guys remember the slinkies? Honey, you remember the slinky? Do you? You remember the slinky?
Yeah, I'm scared to say something.
Oh, you are? Why?
Because you say you always say, "Oh, I didn't get one of them."
Oh, I never had slinky. I wanted a slinky, but I didn't have a slinky. Okay, this is what it looks like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I make earrings out of these, earrings and bracelets, and you can only use the wire clippers for these because of the way they're made. And if you use something else, you will tear up your snippers. You will tear it up. It won't be able to cut anything else ever. So that's why you have to use the wire cutters. These go with this. Yeah, I know, honey. My husband's like, he was afraid to say that he owned a slinky, because then I'll go back into my memory bank and say, oh, that's right. That's because you guys are rich over there where you live. You guys was rich. My parents was broke. We was broke. We ain't had no slinky. My mom didn't have no money to buy no slinky. She had no money to buy no baby alive.
You had no baby alive?
Nope, I ain't had no baby alive. Now my cousin Venus, she had a baby alive.
Y'all didn't get no. Wait, y'all know y'all got a doll.
Yeah, we got some dolls, but there was no
alive.
name brand dolls. I think, well, later on, because my grandfather would give us money, I was able to get a Barbie. I got the kissing Barbie. Got that, but. No, it's some stuff that I wanted. Like, I really wanted a Tiffany Taylor. If you know what a Tiffany Taylor doll is, let me know in the comment section. And yeah, my husband said, if you know who Tiffany Taylor was, you old. But I wanted a Tiffany Taylor doll so bad. I ain't getting no Tiffany Taylor doll. I really did. I really wanted a Tiffany Taylor doll. I wanted a Tiffany Taylor doll. I wanted a Cher doll. I wanted a Farrah Fawcett doll. I wanted a Wonder Woman doll. I ain't get that.
Yeah,
listen, I also wanted a Stretch Armstrong doll, but
Why would you want that?
Why not? That looks so fun.
You still doing the video?
Yeah. Who is it? Oh, look. It's the Tiny Studio Sister times 2. It's my son, Caleb. Hey, Caleb.
Don't stick your face.
It's right there. You want to say hi? Say hi.
Hello there in TV land.
So it's time for me to go because everybody is home from work now. So I will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button. And I'm your girl, Nell. See you next time.